Howdy, Immortalium here, and welcome back to another discussion video. Just before I actually start talking about the discussion topic, basically I missed last week's discussion video, and the reason for that is simply because I was feeling a bit ill, I was coughing up lots of phlegm, my throat was fiery red, I was having a bit of trouble speaking, etc, etc. And if I did a video that week, it would have just turned out crap. So I just decided to skip it and, come back this week. So I just thought I'd let you guys know about that. The other thing is, I took a look through the comments on my YouTube videos. It took me a little while to get to a topic that I felt like discussing. There was a couple of recommendations in some of my, some of the videos, but, I was kind of not feeling some of the topics. I think there was literally like just one or two in my most recent video. So if you guys think of any topic, don't be afraid to say it, But anyway. Basically, the discussion topic has been chosen for me by Hasni Chasney. And basically, I just want to say, first of all, I love that name, Hasni Chasney. I think it sounds fantastic. Anyway, basically he wants to know my opinion on manga versus other graphic novels. So, I'm sure that most people who's watching this video right now probably knows my opinion on manga, which is, I'm quite a fan. But many of you may not be aware of, my opinion on Western graphic novels or other graphic novel mediums, which is that I enjoy them. I have a couple of them. I have at least a shelf full, which, it obviously sounds not that impressive at all in comparison to my manga collection, where I have shelves and shelves and shelves. But I do have some graphic novels, and I do enjoy some of them. But overall, I personally prefer manga. And I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why. First of all, this is kind of a petty enough reason, but it's a reason why I don't buy more graphic novels. And the reason is that I find graphic novels to be expensive. So basically, let me give you this kind of reason. So basically, one of my favorite graphic novels is this one, Watchmen. I know it's not a very original favorite graphic novel. When I say original, what I mean is that everyone and their grandmother says Watchmen is their favorite graphic novel. I'm not sure if it's my number one, but I really do remember enjoying it, and I love Rorschach and all that. But the price of this, which, if you see how thick it is thicker than a standard graphic novel, probably by twice at very least, so maybe like 360 pages, possibly, is ever so slightly less expensive than this, Lone Wolf and Cub, the first omnibus, which, as you can see, is way, 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 way bigger. At least width-wise, than Watchmen. Now it is smaller and it's not in colour and all that, but I'm very much a value person, so when I see, like the amount of pages I get with Lone Wolf and Cub and the amount of pages I get with Watchmen, immediately I kind of start going, maybe I should get Lone Wolf and Cub instead. It's that kind of thing. Now, recently I have been kind of going for the more quality versus page number kind of thing, but, I'm mainly applying that to manga, because I still find it to be a lot more affordable in the long run. So, yeah, that's kind of my opinion on the money side of things. Now, let's get on to something that's that I became aware of recently enough. It was when I was reading Bone, which, it's a great graphic novel, but I did find the paneling to be a bit bland. And I just want to give you a kind of an example. So basically, Watchmen, again, one of my favorites. If you look at the paneling in this, a lot of the panels are basically just 9 panels on the page. 3 at the top, 3 at the center, and 3 at the bottom. And that's kind of how a lot of them work. So they're all pretty much exactly the same. And then other panels seem to be variations of that kind of formula. So for example, if we take a look at this page over here, so we have 2 panels at the top, but you can see that one of those panels, the bigger panel, is actually made up of combining the 2 other panels. So it's actually basically 2 panels worth just squeezed into one. Same with the one under that. So I find that kind of bland, paneling wise, if I'm to be honest, in comparison to, say, Ranma Half, which is something that was made around the same time. So if we take a look at, oh my god, I was just about to show you a panel example, but there was actually a bit of nipple in there and I don't want, okay, there we go. So if we take a look at this panel, you can see that it's a lot more dynamic looking, just actual diagonal panels, they're all like of different sizes. There's a lot of dynamic feeling to it, which I just find to be a lot more pleasant, a lot more comfortable. So paneling wise, I prefer manga in general. Now, I have seen, several panels in more recent graphic novels that have been a lot more dynamic. Like, I mean, keep in mind, Watchmen was back in the 80s when, there was no kind of influence from the Japanese manga side of things. So as of today, in, recent graphic novels, they have been introducing more dynamic paneling. But even so, I still find that a lot of the graphic novels that come out in the West lack that dynamic paneling that manga has. That's just a kind of a personal thing. I know some people, I remember there was a video I did a while ago, I think it was about paneling, and some people were talking about like how they weren't too enamored with paneling, that they just cared about the art, they didn't really care how the panels were. But that's kind of, to me at least, that'd be like saying that you don't care about the movie angle, like the camera angles in a movie. That's how I personally feel about it. So yeah, that's one other reason. And then I guess the other reason is that I just kind of prefer the art style in general of manga. Not to say, of course, there's one definite art style. Obviously every artist has their own feel. But if I'm going to compare, like, for example, here's Judge Dredd, which I read the first case file of it recently. And overall I enjoyed it. It was a bit kind of middle of the road at certain points. Some stories I didn't really care for, other stories I really did enjoy. And actually the paneling in this series is a lot more better than like Watchmen. Like this page here isn't bad paneling wise, but from an artistic perspective, from an art style perspective, if we could just get an example of someone's face here, if we can take a look at it here, not the most pleasant art style to me, at least. I mean, I do like the paneling more in this series than I do in Watchmen, I will say that. But from the actual design of the characters, etc., I don't know, I guess they're just a bit too realistic for my taste, whereas, like, even another series that, a manga series that is on the more realistic art style, Lone Wolf and Cub, part of the Gekiga movement, which called for more realism, still has a kind of a stylized look. Like, what I mean by that is if you take a look at these pages, how can I describe it now? I guess it's that he brought in more realism while still keeping it looking like a Japanese paint scroll. So it still has a stylized look. Here's another good example of that. So if you just take a look at these pages, I'm not sure if I'm conveying that properly, but maybe you're getting what I'm kind of saying. In that a lot of graphic novels, to me at least, push for realism, whereas, manga, it's all about the style. Again, it's something that I've seen being changed recently. Like, you would never ever mistake a Walking Dead art thing for realism. But I still think that the manga has that style more there than Western graphic novels, which I think still are trying to ape reality. Which I think for any creative medium, that isn't how one should go. So that's kind of my personal opinion on that. Overall, I want to say that I do enjoy graphic novels, but the pricing, the paneling, and the art styles just don't appeal to me as much as manga. Now, I do still buy graphic novels every so often. In fact, let me just get you one that I'm actually looking forward to reading soon. I actually bought this recently, and that is Seconds by Brian Lee O'Malley. I haven't actually read it yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. I love Brian Lee O'Malley's works. Like, for example, Scott Pilgrim and Lost at Sea. I really enjoy those, and I'm looking forward to Seconds. Now, the thing is, Brian Lee O'Malley, it's no shock to hear that he's been heavily influenced by manga, like the way that his panels work and the way that his characters look. I mean, you could take a look at this page and almost mistake it for a manga, like, albeit a colored manga. But anyway, I just really do enjoy Brian Lee O'Malley's work, so I'm really looking forward to this. I'm still buying graphic novels occasionally, but as you guys know, I'm way, way, way more into the manga, and that's kind of my reasoning for it, about the pricing and the paneling and the art style, etc., etc. There will obviously be some people who disagree with me, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Everyone's, has an opinion of their own. But personally, I'm on the manga side. Hopefully, Hasney Chesney, that answered your question. As I said before, literally, guys, if you have a topic in your head, do not be afraid to, shout it out, to put it in the comments below. Like, the more discussion topics that are available to me, the easier it'll be for me to kind of go, okay, I'm in the mood for this one, but might not be in the mood for that one, etc., etc. It gives me more options, basically. That's the way I want to say. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys found it educational and informative, etc., etc. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, thoughts on this topic. Do you guys collect some graphic novels as well as manga? And if you do, what graphic novels do you prefer, etc., etc. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and bye-bye.